Yar fiddle-dee-dee, a pirate's life for me, and my galaxy soldier friends. Hey guys, MasakoX here. Now despite hashtag YT being YT, a lot of you really dug our thought experiment regarding the antagonist of movie 12, Janemba. In our video a couple of weeks ago, we looked into the possibility of reintroducing them into the main story in a way which seemed fresher and more modern, whilst keeping in the core values and appeal of the original designs and personas. And when I say them, I'm talking about the movie villains. Now if you wish to find out more about that, then check out the video in the description and up top, and I assure you, we managed to find some good stuff, as well as showing that the Boost Fury GBA game has a legacy after all that's not just about Goku. What came out of that video as well was that you all really want to hear Haverock and I discuss ways in reviving the movie characters into the modern age of Dragon Ball. Seeing as that's exactly what is happening in the Dragon Room right now, you know, Shueisha, they're coming up with ideas, Super Dragon Ball Heroes, they're doing their madcap ways. You know, we're going to take ourselves back a couple of movies and now focus on not just one character, we're just going to be doing what the Dragon Room does, but taking a band of characters that are often overlooked and yet at the same time hold a soft spot in the hearts of the more enthusiastic fans. And anyone who's ever tried to search for BoJack Horseman on Google and gotten another BoJack, and it's left them really confused. Today, we're going to rewrite our favourite spaceman, BoJack and his merry crew, the Galaxy Soldiers. Okay, Masako, what are you going to be doing exactly with this character? This isn't going to be rebooting the character entirely, I mean, into something he isn't, right? No. Today, our main goal is to take another classic Dragon Ball Z movie villain and rewrite them so that if they were to appear in a modern movie sequel, special or saga setting, they would have a little more going on for them other than the fact that, you know, they're a baddie and they're here to fight against the Dragon Team. I mean, you know, give them a proper backstory and proper development, which feels really compelling and adds an extra dimension to them, so that means they can actually stand on their own 2 feet, like we saw with Broly, who has gone from being derided by the fandom to being beloved by the vast majority. We managed to see the impossible happen, so for BoJack, it should be easy peasy. So how do we bite the dust of this issue? Well, we need to go back to the movie that they were in. Truth be told, this was one of the last movies I ever saw of DBZ. It was the last one I actually got to. It took me a long time to get around to it, bizarrely, but I'm glad that I did, because I had seen many AMVs of it ages ago. One that was using Backstreet Boys' larger than life, and it really brought to my attention the animation quality and Trunks. Yeah, no lie. Anyway, we have our main man BoJack and his colourful crew of misfits. Now this idea of having a main guy and a crew of lesser characters isn't anything new here, of course. And what's also not new is that for the most part, barely any of them get a chance to really shine and stand out. All that they are there for primarily is to give some of the characters a chance to fight someone and, you know, do something. Also, the movie suffered from a very lackluster ending, save for the shot of Gohan going Super Saiyan 2 in Goku's gi. That was a good bit of fan service right there. But it resorted to moving to a backdrop which was, you know, almost a carbon copy of the smashed up cityscape that we got from movie 8, the previous movie. Hardly anything inspiring after the first half's colourful scenery in the meadows. Fighting in the meadows? That's new. And let me stop you right there. We're not saying that BoJack Unbound is a bad movie. It is far from being the worst Dragon Ball cinematic experience. In fact, it is actually pretty decent with some really good animation, I will say again. But the bad guys felt like they had a lot of potential, and it was just sadly wasted. I call it the Raditz effect. A lot of villains in DBZ movies don't have a lot of background, and for the most part, you can accept that. That's just par for the course. You can just think, well, it's fine, they're minions, I guess. But then you get a Kochin to his Dr. Wheelo, a Salza to a Cooler, and it certainly elevates the characters to the point where you want to know more about them. With BOJACK's crew, we definitely have that intrigue and the desire to know more about them. And another thing which is a definite is that they look like they have a lot of history behind them. Their character designs are great. They look like that they belong in the world of Chrono Trigger or a Dragon Quest series, which incidentally Toriyama did character designs for, and it was around about the time that, Chrono Trigger was in development, which makes them pretty unique. With all of them, you feel like they're a family, and you wish to see more about how they got together. It's like the group of Passione. You want to see how they actually came together. You feel like their physiology is constant. They are of the same kind, which is unusual. Normally, minions are a mixed bag from different worlds, but with the likes of Zangia, Bido, Bujin, and Kogu, or Gokua, which made things confusing, especially since he looks the most like Chrono, even down to the headband, just different colors, you have the notion that they really know each other, There was a lot of thought put into them. Also, their race got their own transformation, which is definitely a very unique trait, and yet also not, considering it's Dragon Ball. Since Android 13 had one, and of course Broly did, and Cooler, and Lord Slug, technically, and Turles in a way. Yeah, it's kind of derivative in a way. But at the same time, it felt different. We actually get to see various different body types of that kind, so there is something to build upon. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's look at the main man himself, BOJACK. He is supposed to be a space pirate, though Dragon Ball Z Extreme Butoden seems to hint at some relationship between himself and the Frieza Force, but you know how it works with game lore. Still, he acts more like a conqueror. What makes him and his crew unique again is that they have a dedicated name for their kind. They are known as Herons from the planet Hera, or is often termed as the race of Hera. That is something I didn't realize until I started researching this topic. But let's continue. Another quality of his is his ability to admire Earth's architecture and culture, which is pretty rare to say the least. He has some sort of interest and curiosity behind his desire for dominance and wealth. He is also extremely bloodthirsty and vain, which isn't as rare. But hey, this is a Dragon Ball villain, you have to follow some, conventions. Like with Android 13 and Lord Slug, we see that he's not below offing his own comrades so as to gain an advantage for himself over his enemies. They may be part of his crew, but at the end of the day, they are expendable, which makes you empathize with them. And it makes you think in a way. It's been my longest held belief that if any Dragon Ball movie was to be brought into the main timeline, almost wholesale, movie 9 is the easiest one to do so with. It's set in a time when there's no continuity issues, the characters are all really where they're supposed to be, and if you were to say that this was a mini arc instead of a movie and you just cut it up accordingly, I'd believe you, and would just say that this is pretty viable. In our opinion, if BOJACK was given a little more time to shine, he would be one of the easiest movie bad guys to expand upon, as he has many elements regarding his personality that could work if given enough attention and a longer episode arc. We could really begin to see him converse with his colleagues more and more, appreciate the finer things about space conquest, and actually have something that resembles a hobby, or at least something that he can relate to the audience with. But yeah, so far the most unique trait that BOJACK has, when compared to other villains, is the fact that he is specifically a Gohan villain, and we are going to keep it that way in our reboot. But Masako, nowadays Gohan is so much behind Goku and Vegeta. How do you plan on redoing this arc whilst making it believable to the modern day power scaling? Well, I must say that I am glad that you guys are asking the very same questions that we have scripted for you to say. You guys, you're really good at this. But in all seriousness, there is a little bit that we do need to tweak first in order to make him a villain specifically for Gohan and making it believable. We need to change one important thing, his origin. Now don't worry, I know that you're worrying. We're not going to be retconning anything major. He will still be one of the people of Hera, but we are completely dropping the whole trapped inside the star thing, King Kai's planet, as it was pretty silly in the first place, and didn't really fit the space pirate big bad mentality. He's a pirate, not some kind of Lovecraftian evil, Mr. Koyama. I mean, come on. So you know, Takao Koyama was a big component of many of the Dragon Ball Z movie villains, including the original Broly, to which he was Koyama's favourite. But yeah, with BOJACK, you feel that he has travelled a long way, seen many things, and for a very long time. So for him to be just trapped in a star for so long, it doesn't really match up with his well-travelled visage. Now, to go along with his pirate origins and aesthetic, I wonder if we can tie him to another character that is also a space pirate. Somebody who's had to resort to skirting around the normies and living now a life of scavenging. Now, if only we had a character just like this that has come about in the more recent series. If only. Oh, wait. We do have somebody just like that. That's right, our good old pal, Frost. We will be giving BOJACK's henchmen and planet a new home. Something that connects them to Frost in a way which isn't as one-sided as it would have been under Frieza. Frost would have let them do their own thing so as to not arouse suspicion and to act as a scapegoat. Frost can just blame the Herons on it. In our version of proceedings, BOJACK and his crew will hail from Universe 6. Why are we doing this? So as to provide Frost not only with some mercenaries, but also the Universe 6 Saiyans with a viable and regular arch-enemy planet that they are constantly having to deal with. You know, those Herons are up to their old tricks again, and the like. The Galaxy Soldiers, as BOJACK's crew are also known as, would be Frost's former crew. For years, they would have been his most reliable posse. But one day, they just simply decided to just leave his organization, after the former had proven to be too weak. This could have been in the aftermath of Frost being outed as a con artist during the Universe 6 tournament. Everything started to crumble for him. When he went into hiding, his organization crumbled and distorted, and the Galaxy Soldiers were the instigators of the collapse. When they left, the rest followed. Just like the Saiyans, the Herons, as we're going to be calling them from now on, are a race that respect strength in a great manner. It's basically their currency. Hera and Sadala could even be in the same star system. They evolved and revolved around the same sun with the desire to be the superior kind in that particular solar system. It would give the Saiyans of Universe 6 a genuine rival, as well as justifying their role as the universe's police force effectively. Something that gives them drive, like how the Doctor always has the Daleks, Sadala and Saiyans always have now the Herons. Okay. That's all very well and good, Masako, but how would they get to Universe 7 so as to bring Gohan into this? Well, that's really simple in fact. As in BoJack Unbound, this movie would start with a tournament on Earth, which the Dragon team just casually join in for some fun. But this time, the tournament would take place in Universe 6, with Goku, Vegeta, Whis, and Beerus being invited at the request of Vados, so that the Cat Twins can actually start to rebuild old ties after the Tournament of Power. The Herons would learn about this tournament and this competition, and use this opportunity to travel between the universes at exactly the same moment when Goku and Vegeta and the others arrive. You know, there's a portal, just travel right through it, therefore masking their journey. They would have heard about Goku, and with him leaving Universe 7, wide open mind you, the Galaxy Soldiers could just slip on by and take whatever they wanted. Also, before you ask regarding why they would have never been selected for this Universe 6 team for the Tournament of Power, it's pretty obvious. It's because Champa and Vados viewed them as too unruly to count on. They couldn't be trusted. Also, Universe 6 already seemed to have a pretty decent collection of strong fighters to choose from that were in the canon team, so they weren't desperately looking for people and so didn't need to call upon BoJack and company anyway. BoJack loves pretty things, so in this version, he would be a pirate through and through, not necessarily for Earth conquest, but to gain their treasures. His crew stays mostly the same, but we would add some red shirts to pilot his spaceship. Just so that means we don't make Gohan a guy who just takes out an entire race almost immediately. Instead, we would make him a guy whose conference will get interrupted by the pirate attack, and nobody interrupts Gohan's conference. Other than that, we wouldn't really change much more. The Herons have pretty cool power-ups already, but, you know, we would give Zangya one of her own, and make her fight Android 18. Just like how the Tenkaichi games wanted to try and instigate that and allude to, with 18's quite bold responses to Zangya calling Krillin cute. you know? We would also, like in the original, give Yamcha, Tenshinhan, and the others some stuff to do. To sum this up nicely, we think that a modern iteration of a BOJACK movie could help with giving these neglected characters more of a spotlight and leave Goku and Vegeta to have their own little flashy tournament with a rematch against the likes of Hit and Kefla. You can even have Broly tag along with them, you know, to give him something to do. Have Broly sparring with Kale. That's a bit of fan service. We think that BOJACK would be the perfect opportunity to show that this bang still can go down. So what do you guys think? Do you like the idea of a dual fighting plot of a movie or special arc? Would this be a believable alternative? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!